Welcome to the channel. My name is Mephisto. Today we're going to talk about Paradise X issues 9 to 12. We are on the final stretch of this epic story. So without further ado, let's get into it. So this issue actually starts off with the big revelation that the paradise, the heaven that Captain Marvel had created, is actually destroying and eating up the negative zone. Its inhabitants is trying to flee, and things have gotten so bad that Annihilus, of all people, has crossed into the positive reality looking for help. While all this is going down, we have Mephisto. He's about to enact his ultimate plan. He has actually taken the Entropic Man with him to Great Britain to cause chaos there. And it seems that Mephisto's main objective is to take down Captain Britain, who at this moment of the story has become the king of humanity and of the Inhumans. Actually, both in this reality are pretty much one and the same, because in the Earth X, Universe X, and Paradise X universe, everyone was converted into an Inhuman thanks to Black Bolt as a big FU to the Celestials. While all this is going down, we have Steve Rogers, who during this time, he was like the leader of Captain Marvel's Angels. He's preparing like this silent revolt against Captain Marvel because he has realized that something's wrong with this heaven that he had created. Because also as a byproduct of this paradise that we have this really messed up purgatory where if the soul doesn't realize that they're dead and accept it, they're not going to go into paradise. And to actually enter the paradise itself, they have to consume a part of the cosmic cube. Things get pretty convoluted and crazy in this reality. So it happens, Steve and Thanos, who have forged this very uneasy alliance, seek out the Red Skull, the main villain from the first story arc, from the Earth X story, who is not the original Red Skull. This one was a kid that had insanely powerful telepathic powers, that when his powers activated, he actually killed every single telepath on the planet. He was super evil, and this actually pushed Captain America into breaking his neck. This actually sort of broke Cap because, again, he was a young kid. Cap was dealing with an insane amount of guilt. But what happens here, in this purgatory, people maintain their powers, and his idea is to reawaken this young Red Skull and make him use his telepathic powers to awaken all the souls in this pocket reality. So what we discover at this moment of the story is that not only Cap would visit his family every day in this purgatory, he would go and visit this young Red Skull, who here in this reality has manifested as an even younger kid. He's living with his father, Comet Man, a character that I have no idea about. Like, I've never seen Comet Man in any comic book before. I think he's like an obscure 70s character that has been forgotten over time. I might be wrong. So what happens is Steve makes the young Red Skull remember who he is and what had happened. He totally flips out. And I just remembered his name that just blanked out on me. The Red Skull's name is Benny. The thing is that he's really not happy. He starts lashing out with his powers. He wants to make Captain America pay. And the thing is that the first thing that he does, he makes his father decapitate himself with Cap's shield. That's profoundly messed up. But the thing is that, now that's profoundly messed up. But the thing is, obviously, Comet Man does not die. And there, Benny realizes that they're already dead. So we have the situation where the Red Skull realizes that he's not going to be able to kill Cap because, again, he's already dead too. So we have the situation where the Red Skull realizes that he's not going to be able to kill Cap. And another thing that happens is that he feels profoundly ashamed that he let his father down, because Comet Man also discovers at the same time that his son had become this genocidal maniac. Benny's change of heart seems like way too quick in the way I'm explaining it, but on the panels, it's very well done, and he ends up deciding to want to help Captain America. While all this is going down, we go back to Great Britain, where we have this gigantic army of deviants. They're under the orders of Mephisto. During this whole story of the Earth X, Universe X, and Paradise X story arcs, the deviants were sort of like hidden away. They weren't big players in these stories up until this moment. Mephisto was able to trick the Eternals to go into outer space, and they were basically lost. The character Iron Maiden was set out to try to find them. So now we have Captain Britain and his forces having to deal with this giant army of deviants when, out of nowhere, he gets stabbed in the back by Grey Gargoyle, who in this universe was the one responsible for the death of Excalibur. He had reformed seemingly, and now he was within the court of Captain Britain. But he wasn't really the Grey Gargoyle. He was actually Mephisto, who had shape changed and tricked Captain Britain. Mephisto was able to steal Excalibur, and he was actually killing Captain Britain with it. He actually takes Captain Britain's throne, and there we get the big revelation that Mephisto is actually a deviant. And to be more precise, he was the first deviant of all. So the thing is that during these three stories, obviously, Mephisto was the character Daredevil during Earth X and Universe X, because obviously he was fighting against the Celestial Plan. Now with that threat over, his plan is to use Jude to wipe out all of humanity and leave Earth for the deviants. But what we discover is that Captain Britain is alive and well, because the person that Mephisto had killed was actually Megan, his ex-wife. Well, it's sort of complicated in this universe, but the thing is that she was a shapeshifter, and she was posing to be Captain Britain because they knew something was afoot. So Captain Britain's forces are able to stop the deviants, who were sort of divided. They weren't super cool with working with Mephisto. They were not too keen with the fact that Mephisto actually never helped the deviants over all this time. That Mephisto always did his thing, and another thing is that he had actually killed one of the deviants when he made his move to take over the throne, and that really did not sit well with many deviants. So what happens is Captain Britain stabs Mephisto with Excalibur. He actually ends up dying, and here's where actually this part of the story ends, because from this point on, we're going to have our heroes having to deal with Captain Marvel. We actually have Reed Richards, who was in the negative zone, trying to infiltrate himself into Captain Marvel's Paradise. But we're going to leave that for another video. So I'm going to leave this one here. I hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time. Bye.